You can easily and precisely align your maps in Owlbear Rodeo. Here's how. We'll show you how to follow the 3-step process and align maps with different grid styles. Before you start, you'll need to open a room in your Owlbear Rodeo account, and you'll need to have a gridded map image ready to upload. Owlbear Rodeo supports adding multiple maps to a scene, so it's important to ensure that all of those images are scaled and positioned to match the scene's grid lines. As a result of this universal alignment, each map will naturally be aligned in any scene where it's placed, and will be at the same scale as other maps that are used there. First, let's follow the 3-step process. We're currently looking at the scene importer where we're about to use a map image to make a new scene. However, this map doesn't have any scale included in its file name, like 150 dpi or 30 by 18. So Owlbear Rodeo hasn't been able to auto-align it to the scene's grid. In cases like this, you can select the Align tool at the foot of the image preview in order to adjust the map size and position precisely with the 3-step process. First, offset your map to match the magnified crosshair. Second, size one of the map's grid cells to be correct. Third, refine the alignment across the whole of the map's width and height for a perfect match. These alignment controls are available in all the places where you can manage your image assets, which include the scene importer, the edit defaults popover, and even the align image function for a map that's already been placed within a scene. Let's look at these 3 steps in action as we create this new scene. Firstly, after activating the Align tool, you'll be moved to the center of your map where the Offset tool is found. When you click and hold this button, you get a magnified view of the map in that position, and you can drag the map underneath the orange crosshairs to align it. If you need more precision, then feel free to zoom in, or you can hold the Control or Command key to slow the movement down. If you're using a handheld device, the magnified section of the map appears above the Offset button to ensure that your finger does not hide the crosshairs. Once you're happy with the offset position, you can click the next button that appears, or you can select the size step directly in the 3-step toolbar. Secondly, the size tool highlights the edges of one of the scene's grid cells and offers you another click-drag button so that you can change the scale of the underlying map to match it. On a handheld device, after you've touched the size button while still pressing the screen, you can use a diagonal movement to adjust the size of the map. Note that when scaling the map image, the X and Y axes are coupled together by default for your convenience. After you've set the size of the map, you can also pan around to see how good this alignment is in other areas. Thirdly, to fix the drift that's accumulated across the map, we'll use the Refine tool. In this mode, a Refine button appears at the intersection of the scene's grid cells, and it follows your cursor so that you can refine the alignment wherever you see any drift. It doesn't matter whether the drift is uniform across both X and Y axes or is more pronounced in one axis. The Refine tool decouples them so that as you click-drag the map to align it below the scene's grid lines, you can correct different amounts of X and Y drift in a single movement. On a handheld device, the Refine button always appears near the center of the screen, and when you press it, the magnified section of the map appears above your finger for clear visibility. After a quick check of a few places across the map, we can see the map image now has excellent alignment to the scene's grid. As well as being aligned in this new scene, we can be confident this map will be properly aligned in any other scene where you want to reuse it, and will also match the scale of other maps added there too. Now that we've seen how fast it is to align a square gridded map, let's look at some other practical examples with hexagonal and isometric styles. Quite often with these maps, at the Refine step you'll find some significant drift in one axis while the other axis is near perfect. This is because the map's baked-in grid is often distorted and doesn't have geometrically accurate grid cells. Here I have a large hex-gridded map that I need to align in its Edit Defaults page, and after ensuring that I have the correct grid style selected, I can select the same Align option that we saw in the scene importer. Again, we're taken to the center of the image where the Offset button is now shown, and clicking on that button brings up a 3-legged crosshair that is appropriate for aligning to the top left corner of a hex cell. After interacting with the Offset tool, I can click Next to go to the Size tool, and I can drag it outwards to scale the map up to the appropriate size. And I can also use the Control or Command key to fine-tune that change. When I'm happy with that, I click Next and can pan around to the edges of the map, looking for any drift to refine away. In this case, it's easy to see that the horizontal alignment is very good, but the vertical alignment has increasing drift as you approach the edge of the map. I can hover near a corner of the map to get the Refine button to appear there, and then click-drag it to refine the map's scale so that it matches the orange scene grid lines. One final zoom out and pan around to check the alignment in a few other places. And I'm done. Likewise, this is a large isometric map that's been dropped into a scene without being aligned, so by double-clicking on it to bypass the default locked status, I can select it and then choose Align Image from its overflow menu. This map may be a little more challenging because it's hand-drawn, so it will have some natural deviation in its grid lines. In this case, the middle of the map has no grid lines, but I can see an intersection of 4 ISO grid cells nearby, so I will use that as my offset point as I bring the map under the scene's orange isometric crosshairs. Next switches me to the size tool, and in this case I'm shrinking the map down rather than scaling it up. Next switches to the refine step, and first of all I'm just going to pan around and see if there is a consistent pattern of drift across the whole map, or whether all the drift is confined to localized areas and is really due to the organic hand-drawn lines diverging from the scene's calculated grid. If there is any global drift, then it's easy for me to adjust that with any of the refine points, especially while zoomed out, and I can also use the Control or Command key to give me more precision. Ultimately, with a map like this, it just needs to be good enough, and when I'm done, I can hide the scene's grid lines so that they are not a distraction during the game. This ability to adjust a map's offset and scaling per axis is very powerful for correcting image distortion and recovering universal alignment, which also ensures that the grid snapping and measurement tools are a delight to use. Our next video shows you how to use multiple maps to create a multi-level scene. To learn more about Owlbear Rodeo, subscribe on YouTube, or click another video to keep watching.